Hello and welcome to Movies Are Terrible. I'm Jeremy and this is 20 Days of Halloween, 20 Days of Horror Movies. And this is my review of Trick or Treat. It is directed by Michael Dougherty, who also wrote it. It premiered back in 2007 at like 4 or 5 film festivals, but then it actually wasn't released until 2009 when the studio finally had the confidence to release it to video on demand and direct to DVD and Blu-ray, which is crazy. Why is it that we get movies like Bye Bye Man in the theaters, but things like that Trick or Treat get left on some shelf somewhere? I guess that's a different conversation. So this movie was produced by Bryan Singer. It's an anthology film that all takes place, of course, on Halloween. There are 6 stories that all, at some point in the narrative, cross paths, sometimes in more meaningful ways than others. As I said, it was all written and directed by Michael Dougherty, so unlike other anthology movies, he's able to seamlessly weave them together, and also there's a consistent tone because it's his handprint on each and every one of the segments. Which, if I'm being honest, most anthologies, have some really varying degrees of quality. Like a couple of the shorts will be good and others will be absolute garbage. Well, because Michael Dougherty seems to have a pretty firm grasp on what makes Halloween so great and, what makes horror movies and ghost stories so great, it means that there isn't a big varying degrees of quality and all of them end up being consistently pretty damn good. This is a movie where Dougherty showed his affection for 1980s cinema, which, this is cool because unlike a lot of movies that play to nostalgia, this one actually takes place in modern day and it doesn't have to beat you over the head with, hey, this is like an 80s thing. While it still is, it also showed Dougherty's affection for practical effects, which there are some really, really cool ones in here, especially a character named Sam. This would kind of set the precedent moving forward that Dougherty is a lover of practical effects. And when Krampus came out, a lot of people were excited to see what the next evolutionary step in his process was. And I gotta say, that is one of the things about Krampus that wasn't disappointing. If you want to check out my review of that, it will be available right here on the channel sometime before this 20 Days of Halloween marathon is done. There's a lot of Easter eggs, I guess is what I would call them, throughout the movie Trick or Treat that are definitely hearkening and calling back to other horror films, which that's always kind of a fun game if you are a fan of the genre to be like, oh, that thing is from that. And the cast is all game. There are several recognizable actors in the movie, and everybody's pretty good. I mean, this is a horror movie, so, nobody's going to win Oscars for this, but Brian Cox is actually pretty good in his role towards the end of the movie. I don't want to get into specifics of what each of the stories are about because I don't want to give away the surprise of what makes each of these work so well. Kind of similar to Tales from the Crypt, each one is kind of its own little tale of morality, and there is a heavy sense of irony and dark humor running throughout it also, which is something I gotta say I really like in horror movies. So yeah, lots of things to like about Trick or Treat. If there's one thing that I could kind of criticize it for, it's that the pace kind of starts to lag towards the end. It just starts off with the momentum so high that eventually it kind of runs out of steam. Thankfully, the character Sam shows up when he does and kind of re-sparks the excitement in it. But yeah, that's just a small thing. It's only an hour-and-a-half movie. I can't recommend you watching it enough during the month of October. On a scale of 1 to 5, I'm giving Trick or Treat a 3.5. Not stars. I'm going to say jack-o'-lanterns. All right, guys. Thank you again for coming by to check out this review. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor. Slash that like button down there. It really helps me out. Also, subscribe if you want to check out more of these movie reviews. Head over to Be Terrible Movies and check out the Movie Monsters series, or you can find it at horrormoviefreaks.com. That is horror-movies-freaks.com. Love to see you guys over there. If you do stop by, let them know Jeremy sent you. But until the next video, I'm Jeremy. Be terrible.